Hello, I'm Sarah Thompson Copsey and welcome to today's Legal Future webinar's Flat Leases, Tips and Traps from Recent Cases. Buying or selling a flat lease or advising on the terms of a flat lease can be fraught with problems. Not only is almost every flat lease different, but we've also got a lot of statute that intervenes to protect, largely to protect the tenants under these flat leases, but nonetheless causing problems for those advising not only landlords, but sometimes tenants as well. So I thought today it might be useful to have a sort of little roundup of some recent topics that have been before the courts and the tribunals and see what lessons we can draw from them when it comes to advising both the tenants and the landlords under flat leases. So today we're going to be looking at some of the lease clauses, in particular clauses that perhaps restrict what the tenant wants to do to the property. So we'll be looking at how the flat can be used, in particular around things like subletting and Airbnb, but also what you need to think about when you're selling the flat or buying a flat in terms of landlord's consent. We'll also be looking at the ability of the tenant to carry out alterations, and so the court's view on the sort of definitions behind the alterations clauses, and also that incredibly groundbreaking Supreme Court decision, the Duval case, on the usability and usefulness from a tenant's perspective of mutual enforcement clauses and the difficulties that can bring for landlords. And when I say landlords, of course, we tend to think with flat leases, the landlords being somebody other. But of course, if the tenants have exercised the rights of collective enfranchisement, then they will be the landlord and will have to think about these clauses, including the clauses dealing with service charges. So we're going to be looking at service charges, which is where you start to get a lot more statutory intervention under the Landlord and Tenant Act 1985. And we'll be looking at recent cases around proportions of service charges, consultation around service charges, and demands of service charges and what happens when things go wrong.